with Caron Ferrin on RogersTV and podcast. My name is Caron Ferrin. Globally, it is estimated that approximately 1.3 billion people live with some form of visual impairment. In Canada, 3.1% of students live with some form of a visual impairment. Adam Brown hopes to show people what living with retinitis pigmentosa looks like. Earlier this year, one of his videos went viral. Today, we're exploring retinitis pigmentosa with Adam and his sister, Jenna Brown, who has the same condition. We want to help you learn more, so let's learn together. I'm joined by Adam, and Jenna will join us later on in the show. Adam, welcome to our show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Adam, tell us about yourself.
All right, well, I'm 18 years old. I was born and raised in Pickering, Ontario. I really love to make music. I play the piano. I've been playing that since I was 4. I'm working to become a music producer. My setup is in the back right there. I've also taken Taekwondo lessons since I was 6 years old, and I really like the sport. It's great exercise and helps relieve all the stress. I'm a second Dan black belt, and I love to play video games, even if I'm not great at them. I love playing video games, especially Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Regular young person, right?
Yeah.
Are you in school right now? And if so, what are you taking?
The first term of university just ended for me. I go to York University and I study music theory there. I'm taking their School of Arts, Media, Performance, and Design program, and I'm doing a lot of jazz theory, music and cultures, stuff like that. A lot of the mandatory stuff.
Music is really in your blood. I know you've been very active online in regards to sharing your condition with the world, so they understand what it is to walk in your shoes. Tell us about retinitis pigmentosa.
Okay, well, retinitis pigmentosa is a genetic disorder that affects the retinal cells in your eye. And basically what it does is it hinders peripheral vision, night vision, and also central vision. But the thing is, it's also a degenerative disorder, so it gradually gets worse over time. And for some people, it can get worse very, very fast. Like with Molly Burke, who's a very famous influencer with retinitis pigmentosa. Hers progressed super fast, and she ended up going completely blind when she was very young.
Wow. So, for those who may not know, what are some of the symptoms that you experience with this condition? Do you have symptoms?
Well, symptoms could be pretty varied, but things that I've noticed were my eyes twitch. That's something that I can't really control, or something that I really notice. Really bad peripheral vision, can't really see at the side. And my night vision is not good at all. Like if there aren't any street lights nearby, it's pitch black for me.
Yes. So when did you realize or feel that something was different or something was happening to your vision?
Well, I've had retinitis pigmentosa my entire life, but one of the biggest changes that I've noticed in my vision was in grade 9, when I was 14 years old. So I was in math class, and the teacher told us to basically review our notes and read our notes aloud, and she would ask us questions, we would answer them. And so I opened my binder, and I turned to the page, and I knew I had all the right answers, but I just couldn't read it. I could not read my own handwriting, and that was really scary to me because, I was like never amazing at reading with my visual impairment, but it was never to this drastic of a degree that it was just too blurry and too faint and too darkly lit in the room for me to see my own handwriting. So yeah, that was a pretty scary change. And of course, my vision has gotten a bit worse over time, but not as drastic, thankfully.
So I know from our conversation that your sister Jenna does have the same condition. Do your parents also have this condition?
They do not, but they do have the hereditary gene that causes it, which is why both me and Jenna have it. Although our mother does have glaucoma, which is a different visual impairment.
So are there treatments that can help improve your vision?
Well, there isn't a cure. There is no definitive treatment that completely cures it. However, there are gene therapies that can restore vision and halt the progression of retinitis pigmentosa. For instance, last year, a gene therapy was approved in Canada that can restore night vision and halt the progression of retinitis pigmentosa and other IRDs or inherited retinal dystrophies. So that's something that we've really been pushing for. Me, Jenna, and the rest of our family have been pushing for the approval of these surgeries because a lot of them haven't been made available yet.
Yes. So, Minister Peter Bethenfalvey is your MPP for Pickering, who is the Minister of Finance and the Treasurer. What can you say to Minister Bethenfalvey about the need for this trial, not just for you, but for others impacted by this condition? And how can this treatment or this trial help you and others who are living with this condition?
I think what you said is exactly right. Like it isn't just me who needs it. It's tons of people. And yeah, the prices for these surgeries can be really, really steep. But like when someone's vision is on the line, like restoring someone's vision, there's no price on that. You can't put a price on that. And the gene therapy that I was talking about, Luxturna, that was recently approved, but hasn't been made available yet. That's not the only one. There are around 70 different gene therapies that are on the clinical trial right now and haven't been approved for use yet that do show promise of restoring vision. So I think approving Luxturna and other gene therapies like this would help to pave the way for future treatments for IRDs.
Yes. With the impairments you have been experiencing, how has this impacted your life? And do you feel a difference between how you do things compared to how your friends do things?
Oh, I absolutely do. And even as a kid, I never really felt a problem with that. All of my friends in elementary school were always really accepting. The teachers were always accepting. So even though I knew I was different, I was using different gear. I was using Wattcam, which is like a really outdated monitor, and magnifiers to help read things. I used a really big computer. Basically, all the accessibility that we could get at the time. And yeah, I knew I was learning in a different way from everyone else. But yeah, that never really bothered me. That was just the way that I did things, and everyone else was always like really curious about it, like how the tech works.
Yeah.
Because it was elaborate tech, but yeah.
You know, we are all different and unique in our own ways, and I'm a person with a disability, proud to be a person with a disability, and you know, like you, I tend to do things my way, different way, but we end up with the same result, right? So what are some of the things you have implemented to be able to do things your way?
Well, nowadays I work with technology a lot, so I use a lot of the accessibility features that they have on that. I have a really big cursor. a really big mouse. So like when people see my computer, they're like, "Why is your mouse so big?" And I'm just like, I need it. I need it big. But apart from that, I use my cane a lot when I'm walking around in public for navigation, for places that are either darkly lit or that I'm not familiar with, and that definitely helps a lot. There are definitely some things that I struggle with, like if I drop something on the floor, I basically have to drop down on the floor to try and find it, or maybe my foot will find it. That's usually what happens.
Yeah. Where is your vision right now?
My vision right now is pretty decent. It is still pretty good. Like I'm still able to identify colors really well. Both eyes work. Both eyes work relatively well. I noticed that in recent years the central vision in my left eye, or the central vision in my right eye, has gotten worse than in my left eye. So I end up using that eye a lot more often to like read text or something. And my right eye is a lot more blurry. But yeah, I can definitely get by with the vision that I have now, even if I do need help in a lot of cases. But yeah.
Life is so important. What does quality of life means to you?
Well, quality of life to me would be like ease of access to things, being able to make something that being able to make something that that was harder before just a little bit easier. And even thinking back to like the gene therapies, I'm not sure if I would consider that a quality of life improvement, because it's just something that we would need. But yeah, having the ease of access with accommodations and accessibility with technology, it's definitely come a long way with accessibility and technology. But that's definitely something that we need more of. We need to normalize quality of life for the disabled.
Yes. And I'm looking forward to launching my accessibility conference, because access is a right, and I think if we have access in what we do in society, it'll make a big difference for all of us, so that we're included. What's one quick tip you can give to someone your age about living with your condition?
Ask for help when you need it. That's incredibly important, especially if you're a shy person like me. Like, despite what my TikTok persona might suggest, I'm a very shy and self-conscious person and can have trouble approaching people, even if I'm asking for something important. So if you're like in a public place, like in a grocery store, and you need to find the cornmeal or something, just ask anyone for help, even if they don't work there.
It is so important to ask for the help that you need. This is Health 180 with Caron Ferrin and RogersTV on podcast. We are exploring retinitis pigmentosa with Adam Brown. My name is Caron Ferrin. When we return, Jennifer Brown will join us. We'll be right back.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hello everyone, I'm Gregory Charles. Join me for the show Illumination, a celebration of the winter solstice. Canadian artists will introduce you to Canada's traditions and legends. Discover Neon Dreams in Halifax, Chantal Gravianchuk in Winnipeg, Kaylee Cardinal in Calgary, La Poutine Souriante in Gatineau, and many more. See you there.
This is Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Health 180 with Caron Ferrin and Rogers TV and podcast. My name is Caron Ferrin. We are talking about retinitis pigmentosa. Adam Brown is back with me, and his sister Jenna Brown joins us. Jenna, welcome to our show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Jenna, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm 22 years old. Just like my brother, I was born and raised in Pickering, Ontario. I really love music. I love listening to music and talking about music in general. I used to play the piano. I have a YouTube channel with over 7,000 subscribers. So I really love filming videos and editing videos. That takes up a lot of my time, and it's something that I like to do and I work really hard on. And I also like swimming. That is also something that I've been doing since I was a kid.
Yes, it's wonderful. When did you first realize that something was impacting your vision?
I think the first time that I could comprehend the fact that I had a visual impairment was when I was around 6 or 7 years old. My mom and I wrote a book together called I Can Do That, where I talked about the things that I loved doing and things that I can do despite having a visual impairment, like drawing and reading and writing. And we presented that book to my class at the time when I was in grade 2. So my classmates and my teachers could understand my visual impairment better. So that was when I really understood that I had a visual impairment and that it was okay because I could do all of these things.
Jenna, what was it like going through high school with a visual impairment? And did that experience have an impact on your ability to learn?
Well, in high school, I did have a few things that would help me learn better. I had a laptop. I had an iPad as well, so I could maybe take pictures of the whiteboard so I could see what the teacher wrote better and zoom in on it. I also had an EA, an educational assistant, to help me keep things organized when it comes to my work. In a lot of that stuff was also in elementary school as well. During school assemblies, I would use the Watt cam so I could see what's going on at the front. Things like that. Sometimes I would have to have paper enlarged in larger print for work so I could see it better. Yeah, those were the things that I would use to help me learn to the best of my ability.
Yeah. You mentioned EAP because I think some families are traumatized when they hear that because often you hear that with an EAP you have a learning disability, but in your case it's your ability to see. That's why you needed the EAP, correct?
Yes, correct. I do actually have a minor learning disability in processing.
Yeah.
It does take me longer to process certain things and takes me longer to answer certain questions. But the primary reason for having an EA and having an IEP was because of my visual impairment.
So it's an IEP, not an EAP. Okay. So that's not connected to your visual impairment. That's just another ailment that you're impacted by, correct?
IEP. I'm thinking of IEP I don't remember what the I stands for. Individual educational program.
Plan or program, one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those.
We're gonna have to Google that.
Yeah, I did have an IEP.
Okay, okay. I was trying to see the difference between the two because I know that you have the visual impairment, and then which is very helpful because there's a lot of students who needs it, and it's very helpful in order to learn at your best ability and for you to perform in the way that you need to perform to advance yourself and be successful. Um, what is it like having a brother with the same visual impairment?
I think it's great because it's nice to have someone to relate to, and also since like I'm the oldest, so when we found out that Adam also has RP, it was nice that both of us grew up kind of having similar experiences. Even though we both have our own individual lives, there are certain aspects of life that we've both experienced and that we can both relate to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice.
Yeah, Adam's pretty cool. I like him. I wouldn't mind him being my little brother.
Thank you.
What is it like having a sister with the same impairment as you do?
I agree with Jenna. It definitely helps with the connection that we can have one common thing that we can relate to. We both had the same like accommodations when we were in school. And yeah, just growing up with someone who had a similar experience with you definitely helps with the connection and not feeling like you're alone. Because I mean, if one of us had RP and the other one didn't, I feel like there would be that kind of disconnection where one of us would be like, "How come you get to walk around with a marshmallow stick?"
Adam, what is one thing you know now about your impairment that you didn't know then, which could have helped you live better with RP?
Well, for a while I didn't know that it was degenerative. So I think that's why when I was in grade 9 and I noticed my vision got worse, I was so caught off guard. I didn't know that that's how it worked. So yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe I would have been more prepared had I known that earlier.
Jenna, did you have surgery?
Yes, I did. When about 10 years ago, in 2011, I received a gene therapy in my left eye. It was a surgery because I was part of a clinical trial out of the University of Pennsylvania. I was one of 2 children to receive this gene therapy, which is supposed to help to improve vision and also stop or stall the progression of retinitis pigmentosa. So that was a fun experience, and the change that I did notice in the eye that I got the operation on was that things looked a little bit brighter compared to how they do in my right eye. I kind of compare it to turning the brightness up on your phone a little bit, just for a comparison of how things went.
Yeah. Adam, it's so important to have, people you see on the screen who you can relate to. And I think being a person with disability, I take great pride in, being a host and having other person with disability be able to see myself on screen and know that they too can do it, I know you do a lot of videos, and it's so important to see you, with someone who has an impairment and trying to normalize that part of who you are to society. Tell us about your viral video.
All right. Well, the video that I posted back in March, which was basically just me giving a bit of a rundown on what RP is, and also bringing light to the surgery, Lux Turna. and Jenna was on the clinical trial for a similar surgery that works in a similar way. So yeah, it currently has 1.1 million views on TikTok, and I was definitely very surprised by the amount of support, and there were a lot of comments from people who either had visual impairments or had family members that also had RP, and there were a lot of people who didn't know about Luxturna, which was very surprising, and it was definitely one of the reasons why I made that video, is because I never heard anyone talk about it before. So I'm definitely very thankful that I was able to share that, even if it was just a video of me lying in my bed.
So important. Good for you. Jenna, you're now 22 years old. How has life changed over the years due to your impairment?
I'd say, in terms of like my life and how my vision is doing, my vision has been pretty stable ever since I got the surgery 10 years ago. And usually around the time I got it, like during puberty, is when things would have started to progress, and my vision probably would have gotten worse if I hadn't have gotten the surgery. So it's nice that my vision right now is pretty stable. And overall, my life is pretty normal. Like, if I want to do something, like when I'm editing a video for my YouTube channel, I have a monitor so I can see my computer screen better, so everything's bigger. Like, things like that. But my life is pretty normal. I'm just a regular, like, introverted 22-year-old.
Adam, what's one last message you can give to someone your age who's living with RP?
I'd say your disability is a part of who you are, so embrace it. It's you. It's not a hindrance. It can definitely make parts of life difficult, but yeah, if you have passions, if you have something that you want to do, something that you need to do, you can do it. You really can. So yeah, don't let anyone or anything, any part of your life discourage you from being the person that you want to be. As cheesy as that sounds, this world was not built with people like us in mind. So now we just have to wait. Now we just have to like rework the world to work for us and like work around us. So we're definitely getting closer, and treatments will be available. They really will be.
And it's so key in moving forward. And that's a really great message. That's all the time we have for today's episode of Health 180 with Caron Ferrin on Rogers TV on podcast. My name is Caron Ferrin, and thank you to Adam and Jenna for joining us. Special thank you to Susie Sher Oshawa. Thank you for joining us. And remember, together we're stronger.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.